Hi, and welcome to this week's Videocast. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo 3DS, my impressions on Monster Hunter Tri, and if there's time, some feedback to what's his name, Patcher, had to recently say about the Wii. And this all kind of ties into Zelda slightly, but it is more of a general Nintendo newscast. So we have a lot to cover, very little time, so I'm going to try to get to as much as I can. So first off, the Nintendo announced a 3DS system, which is the new Nintendo DS handheld, to come out either at the end of this year or early next year. And the system, basically, if you can't tell from its title, is supposed to feature 3D, and that's all that's confirmed. There's rumors of other things like a joystick, GameCube style graphics, that it rumbles, all coming from supposed developers that have dev kits for it already. We're just going to stick with what we know, and what we know is that it's going to be 3D without the use of 3D glasses. Now, to a lot of people, this sounds like new technology. It's not new. Sony and Patcher actually both said that this could potentially be bad. For Nintendo to even make this move, and that it could be the downfall of the Nintendo handheld kingdom. For those who don't know, Nintendo pretty much owns the handheld market. I mean, obviously the iPod from Apple and the Sony PSP and PSP Go have their market share, but Nintendo's is so much greater than what they have. It's almost not even fair to compare them. It's kind of like comparing PC to a Mac. PC is just way more popular than the Mac, although there is rhyme and reason for Macs to exist. So, the opposition to the 3D seems mostly to be that companies don't know what it is or what it could be. Chances are it uses a technology, most likely, this is speculative, that already exists. And this technology, I believe, is by Sharp. And they've been doing this type of technology since 2003. Prior to that, 3D obviously existed. 3D isn't a new concept. It was around when I was a kid. I remember my first time seeing an IMAX movie. Impressive stuff. So now, how do you take this and bring it to a handheld? Well, it's all about the technology. And here's what Sharp does for their new 3D LCD screens. It says here that all 3D systems have to send separate images to the viewer's left eye and right eye, and Sharp gets around the need to use glasses, which filters one eye's image from the other through what is called a parallel barrier. The monitor uses two LCD panels, one in front of the other. The front panel displays the actual image. The back one angles the light coming from the back light, sending alternate columns to the left and right eyes. In 2D mode, the rear panel simply shuts off, so that all pixels are seen by both eyes. The problem with this has always been that you only can see the full 3D effect if you're positioned correctly, which is a head-on approach, which works really well for one person playing on a handheld. However, Nintendo keeps talking about how they want your friends to watch you play, so it seems not possible. Well, Sharp already got around this partially. This one guy named Matthew from Sharp says that the screen actually has 4 extra 3D viewing areas, so that up to 5 people can watch a 3D presentation at one time on a single screen. You would assume if there's 4 additional viewing angles, they're probably off to the side, probably right next to you, and then right next to them. You would assume that those would be the viewing angles to make it work properly. But this would also be why it's not very popular with televisions, because there are 3D TVs, but if you need to sit in a certain spots in a room to watch TV, people don't really like that. It limits how you can organize a room. But with a handheld, who really cares? So it does allow people to watch and get the 3D effect. One thing of note, though, was that it could actually be shut off, so everything is just 2D. To me, that's huge. So where Patcher and Sony and some of the game companies out there are saying, "Oh, this is bad. It's going to be the downfall of Nintendo." Realize that it's most likely optional. It was a big thing. Remember last time when Sony, Microsoft, and others kind of bashed on Nintendo? Yeah, that was the Nintendo Wii. Now they're copying the Nintendo Wii. In Sony's case, they're literally copying the Nintendo Wii, and in Microsoft's case, they're trying to take the next step. It's still essentially the same thing. It's just trying to do motion stuff without actual controllers. You know what that is? The Natal, the Sony Move, and obviously, you compare that to the Wii Motion, and plus the fact that Wii console sales have destroyed anything that Sony and Microsoft have thrown out to this point. But when you look at all that, I think Nintendo knows what they're doing here. I think the 3D is going to be optional. I think there's going to be a switch that turns it on and off. So if some people don't like it, hey, you never have to play with it. And it probably according to at least what this technology does with Sharp, it turns any 2D game into 3D. That's actually pretty impressive. Imagine if you could play Spirit Tracks in 3D. I don't know. To me, that's neat. But really, what this is going to imply, I think more so what the extra stuff is, whether it has more power or a joystick, is actually going to be bigger news than the whole 3D thing. But don't freak out about 3D. It's probably going to be optional, and it's going to be usable because Nintendo hasn't ever really released anything outside of the Virtual Boy that isn't feasible or usable. So now I'm going to move on to Monster Hunter Tri. The only reason that I am bringing up Monster Hunter Tri is that it is the game that Eiji Inoue has said he's been playing a lot back in Japan to get ideas for Zelda Wii. He said this last year. So I actually got my hands on the demo from GameStop. And yes, I did pre-order the game. And actually, yes, I got the demo before I pre-ordered the game. The demo caused me to pre-order the game. I know some people have been having issues with the pre-orders or getting the demo without pre-ordering because Capcom has said you don't need a pre-order to get the demo. Get the demo and let the demo make you want to pre-order. Some GameStops haven't been doing that. They did it for me. So first off, the game isn't easy. It is definitely, I hate the term hardcore, but it's definitely for a player who wants to put in the time to fully master a class or ability. It comes with like 8 or 9 classes. I can't remember. I've spent over 50 hours with the demo, and that seems like a lot of time on a demo. And it only features 2 actual monster kills, and so 50 hours seems a bit extreme. But with all the different classes, I've seen some other reviews of it where people have kind of bashed it, said that it's slow, all the classes are the same. These players, this game isn't really made for those players. It's made for people who are patient and want to truly master something. The first thing that pops out is the visuals. For a Wii game, it's absolutely gorgeous. Note, I said for a Wii game. If you are a big 360 fan or a big PS3 fan, this isn't going to impress you. And many times when you're playing it, you might start thinking, well, what if it was? Or what if it was even on the PC? What if? Well, it's not. It's on the Wii. It's exclusive to the Wii. So it is what it is. Now, the first thing you want to get into is the control scheme. You can use the Wiimote or the Wiimote and Nunchuck, or you can use the classic controller or the soon-to-come-out Classic Controller Pro, which is the same thing with a grip and 2 extra buttons. So now, I will say this. I did not like the controls with the Wiimote and the Nunchuck. He would do different attacks based on what angle you were holding the remote, and every single button had a function, but you would control the camera with the D-pad, the left and right of the D-pad, and like the down button or the down arrow on the D-pad would change what perspective you were in. Like you couldn't go to first person, but the camera would zoom up to more over the shoulder, then back out further. But it didn't seem to ever back out far enough or give me the freedom I wanted. When I used the classic controller, it completely changed. It basically was like a free roaming camera with the right stick. it worked awesome. I think that the whole game just plays better with those controls. So get into the game. It's hard. You need to use all of your abilities. If your character has traps, you need to set up traps at the entrance and the leaving part of each area that you're fighting in. There's a lot of areas, a lot of load zones. In short, the game is not going to be for everybody, and I'm afraid that because it's not going to be for everybody, the sales are actually going to be dwindled. But if you like great games that are unpredictable, that have a living, breathing world that actually lives and breathes, this game is going to be for you. How the monsters react is all unique. Put it this way, in my 50 hours of gameplay, not one fight with the monster was ever the same as it was in any previous time that I fought him. That's impressive.